want to grow as a grower? Are you tired of being put to sleep by your educational growcasts? Are you tired of hearing about products you don't fucking want and can't afford? Are you tired of being told how you should grow? Hi, I'm Johnny Apple, and joining me is everyone's favorite amphibian, the Reverend Pirate Frog. Join us as we sift through the bullshit on the internet and try to get better as growers. This is Your Average Grow.
Hey, dude.
Hey, man. So I brought a couple guests on to fill the void of my soul. Here's Merch and Howling. What's up, guys?
Yo.
What's up?
I think you guys have way too big of a job to fill the void in that dude's soul. So good luck.
Hope you're chatty.
I'm always chatty, man. You know me.
That's why Merch is our go-to, man. We always get so excited to have you, and we also know that you're going to make us interesting. So it's like that.
Do you need me to talk about nothing for a really long time? Because I can do that very well.
No,
You need me to stay awake for it is the question.
Yeah. But then also we had to bring our buddy Howling on just because he's a good friend of mine, and he was super there to help me, and so I want to get him on and bust each other's balls because him and Johnny are competing for the best at it currently. So
When you make it easy,
yeah,
you jump on it.
that's very true. So who wants to go first, Johnny? Who do you want to question first?
Well, Howling is very, very active, so I want to go to Merch first. I want to see what Merch has been up to, man.
Yeah, man. I have been sort of flying low this month. I've kind of been on like a little bit of like a hiatus, a personal hiatus. I live out on like this island off the coast of Maine, and I haven't been over to the United States in about a month. I have been, like maybe 2 times this month. I've been chilling out here on the island. It's been dumping snow, and I've just been like, I'm watching some Netflix. I am sleeping in late, staying up too late, and just kind of kicking it, cooking, chilling. But as far as my weed plants go, I'm breeding a ton of plants right now, a ton of autoflowers. I got probably too many, honestly. I'll never be able to try them all, so I'm gonna have to send them out to people. But yeah, I'm doing a lot of breeding.
Hell yeah!
Shit.
Well, it's pollen chucking. Let's not, I'm chucking pollen at some plants, and they are accepting it very gratefully.
luckily, and I've got in a little bit. I'll tell a story, but your pollen chucking has helped out so far quite a few people.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. That's what I make it for,
Exactly. Fuck it.
So
I'll just get into it now. Sorry, Alec. But it's better now because I'll forget. But 2 guys that I worked with came up and they're like, "Hey, do you have any seeds?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, I do," because of my buddy Merch. So I gave him some of the stuff you came, and then our buddy Strong Island Grower came out to Anaheim for some training. I don't know how much training you can give that guy. He's quality, dude. He's one of the nicest, greatest dudes I've ever met. But he got some of your stuff too, and super excited to have met him and pass it along. So you've got stuff going everywhere, man.
Yeah, he hit me up on Instagram and said, thank you. And thank you, Rev, for hooking him up. And I was glad. I'm absolutely glad. That's why I fill those files all the way up as much as I can, because I know people will be a little more loosey-goosey with seeds and not stressing that,
Yeah. And I've popped some in some solo caps because of it. And so I'm doing the cam number 2 by Star Fox that you sent me. I'm doing it 3 ways, 3 different times, so I could give myself plenty of backup.
Well, I've got about 3,000 more of them over here in a jar. So if you need more, I can send you more. So don't feel stressed about it.
I appreciate it. We got to get some to Howling so he can do the solo caps. We got to convince him to go fall back in love with autoflowers, but we'll get to that later. What are you breeding in mind now? Like what are you chucking pollen at?
Well, so I was going to do an F3 cross, which I've been working on. The one that I just grew before this, I'm trying to continue that line, I guess, in a roundabout kind of way. I guess I am selecting for that. But since I had the male and I had a bunch of other plants that I always have more plants going than I'm actually intending to breed with. They just happen to be at the right place at the right time. And it's a bunch of really good strains. All the stuff that I mentioned the last time I was on here, like some dark owl stuff,
Mm-hmm.
night owl, Mephisto, a rock bud, wicked pissa seeds, like good, pretty good stuff that my buddy Nat he's on my Discord. He's been a really good
Yeah.
friend of mine for a long time. And he sent me like the first seeds that I ever bred with, but he sent me a second batch of seeds, and I went buck wild with them. I planted a bunch of all of them, and there's purple pope in there, all sorts of stuff, and this is all going to be crossed with my double. It's a double grape crossed with Star Fox that I crossed with what is it? Coal miner's daughter. I forget what I'm doing.
Oh, good.
And then this is the F3. So yeah, it'll be an F3. That one will be an F3, and then all these ones will be F1 pollen chucks, basically. But they're pretty good chances it'll be decent. So that's pretty cool. And they're all going to be
awesome.
They're all regulars. So if somebody wants to take whatever they find and make something with it, they can do that. So that's kind of cool.
That is awesome. And a quick plug for your Discord. Everybody and every interaction I've had with them has been just wonderful and pleasant. But your Discord is some of the nicest, most upbeat people. And I love spending time over there and
thanks, man.
Seeing everybody.
I love it over there. Really good group of people. We've had that server going for almost 2 years now. And it doesn't seem like it was that long, but we started it, right about when the pandemic hit, and we were all pretty bored. And
Yeah.
I was living in a cabin in the woods, and we all had nothing to do, so we just started chatting it up, and it just kind of organically grew. So it's really, really awesome having a community of people that you trust and that you can bounce things off of, and they're gracious and they're polite, and you just like mesh well. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's super nice to meet people that are like, you don't even have to be 100% like-minded, but you just share a common hobby and you get to talk and everybody feels like they're safe. It's fun. And then you have our Discord where Howling's there and he's just ripping on you and makes me cry daily. But I asked for this.
My plants suck. I'm so terrible at these beautiful looking plants.
He's got monsters all the time and he's like,
No. There's a reason why you do not see two of the plants too often. It's because they're fucking shameful.
There is no such.
You see mango and you see my photo tent because I'm proud of them. You do not see the 2x4 auto tent too often.
You got to rock it, man. The fun part is in failing.
You know what, though? If this one plant is not huge, this is the Milk and Cookies crossed with Dog Walker from Alebrije. It's not huge, but my God, the buds on it are beautiful. They are chunky. Like, I have not had buds this chunky.
I believe that was the freebie with the juicy.
No. Yes, it was.
I know that that dog walker has some power behind it because I know the first freebies that came with the tangy, and I can't remember off the top, and I know Mac is screaming at me.
Star Crunch.
Yeah, I know people were very stoked with that one.
I love freebies, man. They're always good.
Yeah, where can you go wrong? I mean, unless I guess it didn't grow, but even then, who complains about a free meal?
You know what? Like my first couple orders were from like a seed bank, and so they toss in all these freebies. And from seed banks, their freebies, I'm not really that interested. Alebrije like tosses freebies at me, or joint custody, and they toss freebies like shit. Yeah, that's going in soil. Like
that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. Where you get it, where you source the seeds, is pretty important.
Yep. That's very true. It is. It makes you feel better at least too, because if you trust them even a little bit, like if you haven't grown them before, but they have a good reputation, the freebie, if they're currently working on it, at least is going to be interesting.
Unless they give you a mystery freebie, which I have.
Oh, I hate. Those are fun.
I can't wait.
But it's
That's
like,
the
do you
chaos I
even
like.
know? Do you
Yeah.
even know what it is? Because if you don't,
Yeah.
it's okay. You can just tell me, but don't
Yeah,
slap
exactly.
mystery on it.
I do. I love Alabri had some cool drops where he dropped and you had the chance to buy a mystery. But like I know he gave me a more narrow leaf variety of mystery seeds. But even that, it's like I wish I had more space because I still do kind of not want to know what I'm growing, you know?
Yeah, but the thing
Call
is
me old
that
fashioned.
he probably knows what it is, and that's what's important.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he does. I can trust him all
Mhm.
7'2" of that guy. He's a
It's
giant.
ridiculous.
He's a
You
giant.
say, you know what? It has a green leaf and it smells like a fruit. Oh, it's this one. I
Yeah.
think it's this one. It's
Yeah.
like, what?
Yeah.
How did you even get enough out of that?
Yeah, his mind is amazing. I guess when you're that big, you have a bigger brain. Um,
Definitely.
but
So
He's that tall, dude? What?
I think he's like 6'8". But
So
every time I say it, I like to give him a few inches. So eventually I can just drop that he's like 8'4" in conversation and nobody will blink an eye. But I do know that he does ski behind his water boat. I don't know why I call it the water boat. I'm way too high of water boat as
Holy
opposed
fuck.
to as
I
opposed to
mean,
those
as
land.
opposed
On
to
water
like a
boat. What's a
motorboat.
land boat look like?
I wanted to say ski boat, but I didn't want to say he was skiing behind a ski boat. So for some reason but the joke's dead now. I just wanted to say he fucking skis behind a ski boat on his feet. But that was just too fucking much for my brain.
I'm picturing it though. I
Yeah.
really appreciate drawing that image for me.
Yeah,
A
thanks.
tall dude who likes weed a lot on a water boat.
Yeah, on a water boat. God damn it. I will never regret smoking a joint, but water boats pretty low.
I mean, I don't think people call them motorboats anymore. I think that's been kind of shunned a little bit. So
Yeah, it's not that I was avoiding that, but that's a good one. I like that. Let's go with that. I was trying to be classy,
it's
and
gracious,
that's what the
and I
issue
respect
is.
that you
Yeah,
decided to go that route.
I'm such an honorable motherfucker.
Exactly.
So how was your recent, I know you've made the decision to slow down on releasing content to a more of a, I think it's was it every other week now, or did you go from every week to every other week?
Yeah, I've been sort of doing like a slow step down. You can't just cut people off. So I've been kind of taking a little bit of downtime. So now I'm doing every 2 weeks.
Okay,
And,
yeah.
I do an Instagram video whenever I feel like it, but it's pretty few and far between. It'll probably pick back up again. But I just been really chilling, man. And it feels good. I feel like rejuvenated. And, it's been quiet and it's been calm and I like it.
Yeah, it's good for the soul.
I think so. To take a little bit of time off here and there.
Hmm.
Like you can't just go hard in the paint
All the
nonstop.
time.
You're
Yeah,
gonna get burnt out. So I sort of do like an ebb and flow and up and down. And I think that's totally fine if you do that.
absolutely. Plus, if you lost your mellow mood, the videos wouldn't be what they are.
Yes. And I have noticed that when I try to push it out too much, people are like, hey man, you sound like a little bit less excited. And maybe I don't pick up on it, but people watching do. So
Yeah.
I try and do it when I think it's good.
Yeah, it's the way to do it, man. And that's why our content's always terrible, because we don't listen.
Oh man.
Ain't that right, Johnny? Or did you die too?
No, I'm right here. I was gonna go get a water, but I heard my cue coming in. It's like, yeah, man, you need a fucking break. I need a break
Amen.
too. I need
Amen.
one.
Yeah, man.
I damn near took one myself.
Everyone needs a break.
It's good for the mental health.
Johnny, you
It
ready?
just it
ready
doesn't
to
make for
chill?
good content if everybody's not into it. If you're not fucking feeling it and you got shit going on and everything else, man, it doesn't make for good content. You want your people to be excited about what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah.
At least interested. If
Yeah,
you're not
exactly. If you're
interested,
not,
it's more
yeah.
it's more disrespectful.
Yep.
You just got to make sure we have plans in place. That's why I think we got to encourage. That's why, with everything going with this podcast and all of our friends, like Merch and Howling are two guys that we trust, and I know they're friends with me and Johnny. So it's nice to have them on and have them talk and fill in for us when we're having all kinds of crazy shit.
I would
Yeah.
even go as far as to say that we might even be bros.
I know, it's crazy. Good friend Merch. I
Hey,
always get
speak for
excited.
yourself. I'm a hoe.
We got pros and hoes.
Bros Antos goes way back to Johnny's high school days.
Hey ho.
He was the broho, dude. Did you guys have brohos on the East Coast?
Damn, I don't know, man. I don't
Did you
think so. It,
did you have bros with the lifted trucks and like the tats and the metal militia and
no,
all that
that's a
stuff?
NorCal thing. I met some people from
Okay, yeah.
NorCal, but we have a
Is
lot of like broke bros that are just like broke broke bros. I don't really know if there's a
Yeah.
name for that, but they have the trucks.
We
But
prefer
they
homeless.
just don't have they just don't have the sick ass stuff that the NorCal guys have.
Oh
But
yeah.
but they're still bros.
So when I was in high school in Southern California, where the good California is, um, there was a thing called bro, right? So they would have lifted trucks, or sometimes they'd have just lifted in the front. And so and I drive a truck, but I'm not gonna lift it. I don't see any point to it. I use it for work. But whatever floats your boat, I'm not judging. But they would wear like freaking like high white socks, like staunch white socks up to their knee, and
Yep.
like van shoes and the weird hats with shit written on the bill about trucks that they don't own, and like metal militia with fucking, and what was the one with the SS?
Oh, dude.
And it's
It,
like that's the SS bullets. Why are you wearing that?
it was a dirt bike, right? Brand or
Yeah,
something like that. And they'd have
yeah.
a bike in the back, but they'd never be dirty.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a few of them, but it's few and far between, Rev.
Yeah.
There's not that many of
Not
those.
anymore. No, they're not anymore. I don't see it, thank goodness. But there was a subgroup that we unpolitely called their women, which was brohos. So it was bros
Oh,
and brohos.
now that makes sense. So they're in the
Yeah,
same category.
yeah,
So you like sort of put them in their own section. You got
yeah.
the
And
the
the
bros
bros and then the
and the
brohos.
brohos.
And the
But
brohos was just a female variant of the bro, right? But they would wear like denim skirts, and they'd have like highlighted hair. They'd be blonde with like brown chunks in the shit. And they'd wear platforms that were like 12 inches of fucking lift.
I'm
And
sure some of them were really nice girls and guys. But
none of them were
I think
bad people.
I think
They just,
nowadays we call them fuck boys and fuck
yeah,
girls,
that's
right?
true.
Isn't that what
Yeah.
it is now?
I
I
don't
think
know. Howling's the hip one of the group.
yeah, dude,
What?
I'm not one to talk on this.
no, no, I'm not the hip one because listening to you two talk, it seems like the Midwest is the only normal place
Oh
of the
yeah.
country.
I've heard great things about Chicago politics.
And we just ignore that piece that funds the whole state. Okay.
That's fine. No, but yeah. So they weren't bad people. They just had horrible ideas of fashion, I suppose.
And sometimes they made really shitty decisions in life.
Yes, they did. Yeah, we can't judge them. They just really liked Monster energy drinks and sick
Yes.
jumps.
You got to put those stickers on the back of your truck, or else
Yes.
you don't drink that shit, and no one is going to hang out with you.
And just put it straight on the paint too. Just right straight dead on the paint.
I mean, I've drank Monster Energy. I'm not going to lie, okay, but I don't think I would ever go as far to get like a tattoo. Like
No,
that's next
it's
level.
it's one of the major reasons why I'm glad I have no tattoos, is because at the age that I would have gotten a lot of tattoos, like 18, 19, I would have the dumbest fucking tattoos. I would have so many band logos covering my body for bands that I don't even like anymore. And it would be like, I'd have it would just be stupid. I might have even got my last name tattooed on my back as like a teenager or something stupid like that. Like, no offense to those people that do. I just, as a pasty white dude that even like, I don't even tan, I just sunburn over and over, and I surf and I'm in the sun constantly. It just doesn't look good. You don't need to see some like weird looking ginger kid covered in tats.
I mean, you're not wrong. I've got some really bad tattoos, bro. Some bad ones from when I was younger. I got a band that I don't even listen to anymore.
Oh, good. So now I just
I
sound like an asshole.
no,
You
but
son of a
but I was 18 when I got it. But what I did was that I just got absolutely blasted with ink, and now I don't even remember where those are on my body. So
There you go.
it's
Well, see,
fine.
I will say though, you pull it off. You look good. I would look like an awkward motherfucker that you're like, that guy is either strung out on some weird looking shit, or I couldn't pull it off.
You know the key is and I've said this to a lot of people. You got to go and get the good ink. You
There you
like
go.
you don't try and save money. Get an appointment and get the good one. Spend a $500 or $1,000. Get a sick ass piece of ink that you want, because it's gonna be there for a little while.
A little, yeah. At least until you can afford to cover it.
Take it from a guy who's got some bad ones. I've got like Napoleon Dynamite writing on my foot that says like, I won't even say, I'll leave that as a surprise, but I have some bad ones.
Yeah, that's I have nothing against anyone with tattoos. I just know that I would look horrible. Megan has some great tattoos, thank goodness, and they look good on her. But if I had anything similar, I'd just look like a douche.
You'd be like one of the pokers, those guys
Yeah.
that have they just sort of like put random little dots and stuff all over them. Looks like it was drawn on with like a crayon and a Sharpie by like a child.
Oh,
And
I have a story about that. My buddy, a good friend, and I'll keep the names out. But at one
Fred,
time,
we all know who you
no,
are,
yeah,
Fred.
Fred. He at one time in high school got himself a tattoo gun and was tattooing himself, and he got all kinds of dumb stuff. But he literally did stab his leg with the tattoo gun multiple times, hundreds and hundreds of times, to make it what he thought would look like cool stars. No, just looked like dots everywhere on his damn self. And then this same genius got 187 tattooed down his shin. Yeah.
Damn, that's
Yeah.
so dope.
Yeah. You know what was funny? He goes, man, that cop did not like me when I got pulled over. I was like, I'm surprised they didn't beat the shit out of you. You dumb man.
They love it when you get pulled over with that kind of stuff. Just
Yeah.
put a donut on the other one, and like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just go ahead. Just walk up to him and slap him and be like, what are you doing off? Anywho, I hate, not that I'm a fan of the police. I despise them, but don't ask for it, man. Like if you're going to hate them, you can't just walk around with a sign that says, fuck them.
yeah, you got to be smarter than that.
Yeah, you just got to be somewhat logical,
Somewhat, though, not all the way. Let's be real. We are not 100% here.
No.
I show myself growing cannabis on the internet.
Oh yeah,
So,
exactly.
you know what I mean?
We're not very bright, and
Not the brightest.
I hate authority so much that it always screws me over because I'm too dumb to accept it sometimes. And everybody's at the end, you're just like, man, that was only detrimental to me.
I just moved out onto the island, so that way I'll have a little bit of a heads up when they're coming with their siren boats.
There you
I'll be
go.
able to see them from about 30 minutes away, and I'll have plenty of getaway time.
Thank God for government regulations on like safety. They have to all wear bright orange too.
Yep.
So,
No
just-
sneak attacks over here.
Yeah, exactly. You can't blend in. That's against naval code.
It is, dude. Oh, that's good.
Shit. So is anybody growing weed, or are we just gonna fucking?
Oh, I'm sorry that we're just having a good
Fuck.
time with our friends.
What were we talking
just
about?
fucking-
I do this every time,
just
dude.
kidding.
I'm
I
sorry.
was just
Okay.
gonna, no,
Don't
man, it's
apologize. We need
hilarious.
it.
I was like, wait a minute. Is this a podcast
Dude,
anymore?
this is my life. This is
or
what I
is this
do.
fucking dude sitting in a circle fucking smoking weed? I love it, man.
In my defense, I am sitting here mixing up some things for my plants now.
Oh, then
I don't know what
describe it.
you all are getting fucking stoned, and I'm sitting here.
So,
doing
anyways,
more.
is everybody doing any fun?
Hey, Howling, will you please legitimize this podcast and tell us what you're fucking doing in the garden
what are
right
you
now?
mixing up?
So I have the 4x4 photo tent, and there's 2 earth boxes in there, which those plants are just off doing what they're going to do in rage. But I have 2 5-gallon pots, which have like 4 gallons of soil. So like I'm babying them because there's only fucking 4 gallons of soil in there. But I don't have room. So that's all I had. So I'm trying to do what I can. And I got picked up onto this, it's not like they don't label themselves as organic, but if you look at everything, that's all the inputs, it's all organic plant-based inputs, and it's carbon-based fertilizer. So I've been using that on these pots, and so far it's working great because it's kind of just stupid simple. And so that's what I'm mixing up right now.
Oh, that's
It
interesting.
smells like kombucha.
Oh,
'Cause
really?
It's all fermented. It's all fermented stuff. It's from like fermented plants that bring out different. The guy has a couple videos. I find them really interesting, but like super over my head.
There's a lot of those.
But
This is
like,
something
but
purchased or something you made yourself?
no. Something I purchased.
What is
so
it?
my favorite It's called Rooted Leaf,
Hmm.
and I got turned on by them. First, it
Yeah,
came
you did.
from a video with, oh yeah, giggity
Stop, you're
giggity.
gonna make him howl.
Woo! That's for the after hour show.
this,
So,
this is why you tune into hard hitting cannabis questions.
um, I think it was like maybe it was Mr. Grow It or something had an episode with him, and I'm like, you know what, this all kind of like logically makes sense. Like more carbon, good, and that's basically like their whole premise is that the way they formulate these is abundance of carbon in the right forms that you give it to it at the right stage and whatever plant shit happens. And so I don't typically use it, but then my favorite breeder, Jinx Proof, who is all these plants are from him, he grows with it, and so does some of his testers. They grow with it, so I'm like, you know what, I might as well give it a chance. And I don't use it with my earth boxes because those things rage. I don't have to do anything. That's why I have them, because they're easy. But like these 2 pots, it's like, well, fuck it. I like chaos, so let's toss something at them. And so far, it's working actually extremely well. So I like it. I'll never use it for my earth boxes again because I'm lazy. I get stoned half the time. I don't want to do shit.
Yeah. Plus, it's kind of
But
like its own system. It just
yeah, I look at them. I check on them every day. And it's like, you're still wet. You're still raging. Great. You're done. Like I move on with my day. And that's beautiful. Like, I don't know if people really realize how beautiful that is, that you can get back to just thinking about a plant and not thinking about the process that goes into it, unless you really get into it.
yeah.
Let me ask
I
you this
don't.
about your. Let me ask you this about your earth boxes. When are you choosing your top dressings?
Well, okay, so this is only my second run with earth boxes. My first one, what I was doing was every 2 weeks. It was like the normal schedule. It was like half a cup of craft blend and top dress and so on every 2 weeks. What I found out is later in flower, I started foxtailing, and it might have been from the nitrogen that was in it. So I need to learn not to feed so often. So what I'm doing right now, and I think Rev, you kind of turned me on to this. There's like 2 or 3 points that you may top dress in the life cycle of like an auto. And so I kind of follow that with the top dressing and teas, where like there might be one in veg, one in stretch, and one at like towards mid flower, and that's it.
Yeah.
So that's
I
what
think
I'm
that's
going with
great.
now.
That's what I know Johnny does more often, but I do my big 3. And then I mean I do a very micro one when I first put the cover on, just because.
Oh right, yeah.
No, I don't do more often. I do when I see feeder roots.
That's
I judge
true.
it based
That's
on feeder
true.
roots.
I have
That's a
never
good call.
seen them.
That's more fair. You will.
One thing that helps is having a good like mulch layer. But
Mhm.
if you got an earth box, you should have a plastic
cover.
thing over it, right?
Yeah. So normally that's when I start my first top dressing, because you want to encourage the feeder roots right off the bat. So as soon as I put that plastic cover on, that's when I'm going to do a top dressing right then and there.
That's true.
And
That's
see,
when I do it.
Yep.
The last photo run, that's exactly what I did. Is I put the cover on, I top dress, and it was like every 2 weeks after that.
Oh no!
I
See,
never
I
saw a
waited.
feeder root.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't. You probably
were
wouldn't.
probably
In a
covering
single
'em.
grow, you've got probably enough
I'm-
in the soil. There, you're probably not going to see it in a first grow. You
Oh,
might
that
or you
box
might
is
not,
probably
but
so overloaded.
yeah, but you want to start with it. And if you don't see feeder roots, then you don't need to top dress.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you've top dressed
Oh,
already. So
shit.
if you're not seeing the feeder roots, you probably don't need to top dress, because think about it. You're using Build a Soil Light. That's 7 gallons of soil. There's probably enough nutrients in that already for most autoflowers for a full
Mhm.
grow.
Which that was
So
an interesting discovery this week, is because we were talking about the volume of soil you can put in an earth box, and like
Mhm.
there's like the practical, like we know what earth box says is not true, like at least the way that we grow.
Yeah.
So we all follow up, like you're gonna fill it up to about an inch from the top, that way you can top dress it through different times, and like that's what we do. And so
Yeah.
we know just
Yeah.
to get to the inch from the top, that is like 9 gallons of soil or so.
and that's
And we're
a
like,
lot of
and
soil
they're
for
Yeah.
an
good.
autoflower.
but they claim even more than that, and it's like, how the fuck are you getting that in there?
Yeah, they
Well,
claim
then I
that you can
finally,
take 2 cubic bags, right?
right,
There's
That's
no
if you
fucking way.
mound it over 2 feet above
right.
the
Yeah.
box.
and that's what they suggest. If you actually read their instructions, like they do some weird things of creating a trench and putting fertilizer in there and so on. But then their idea is that you're starting off with the mound. You're not
Yeah.
adding as it grows. You start off with that. So yeah, well, of course you're going to get there a gazillion gallons of soil if you do that.
Yeah,
Mm.
exactly.
Don't tell me in some spec sheet that you could sit there and fit 15 gallons when you have to like, oh, but wait,
It
the
goes
mound
way
is
above. Yeah, it goes way above the fucking top of it.
I
It's like
can
Yeah.
this bucket holds 20 gallons. 5 of it's out there though.
Yeah.
I can mound anything. I mean, don't tell me that.
I know, seriously, yeah. I fit into pants daily, motherfucker. No, I was kidding.
I am still rocking pants 5 sizes too small. I can do it.
I can do it. If there's a will, I got a way, motherfucker.
I think that the 3 top dressing though, I think that's pretty solid as long as you're, not using anything too light or too heavy, and
Yeah,
you don't burn it or underfeed it. I think that's solid. I think that's
I,
a great recommendation.
I think it gives you a little bit of leeway in when you do it because there's so much. Instead of just saying at week 3, do this. I think you're like, okay, make sure that it has one. When it's in veg, it doesn't got to be super heavy. Follow
Yeah.
somewhat instructions, and then right as you're stretching, a little before that stretch that after it's harder for beginners because they don't know what to look for.
Right.
But once
Noticing
you,
what stage is kind of
yeah,
difficult at first.
but if the stretch is coming up, you want it to have energy for the stretch. It's going to get it from the soil, but you're kind of thinking to just replace it. It's going to the plant's going to get it, but you got to think too that you're adding to the soil as you're depleting it, and that helps. That helps me personally.
And the root mass too, it just absolutely consumes like smaller size pots. They'll
Yep,
be like most of it will be roots, so they really do displace a lot of stuff. So if you can throw it
exactly.
on top, it will absolutely find it, especially in stretch.
Yeah, and then you hit them with the flour, which is when I go from the stretch and then I get into flour, all my teas change, all the sprouted teed seeds change, and so I do a final flour top dress, and then I just kind of treat it with labs and then microbes and stuff like that till the end. Molasses and all the traditional stuff, FPJs, but the real heavy work is already done, and I would say that most autos, perhaps most of that's unnecessary.
I
They'd
think so
probably go
too.
just fine.
I think I
However,
used to
yeah.
over fertilize like big time, guys.
Oh yeah,
It's taken
yeah.
me years to realize that I need to cool my jets a little bit, but
Hmm.
I see all these products and I see everyone using things, and I just assume that that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And it's, as I've gone more to the organic side and more to like not really doing a lot, it has become extremely evident that they still sometimes get too much nutrients when I'm not giving them anything at all.
Exactly. And it's something that you have to be able to look at the plant and tell. And it's also something that if like now that I've closed the cycle of the soil and I'm just reusing it, right? It's something I also have to think of, okay, I want to plant in this, or this is going to go cook, so I'm kind of replacing a little bit. So all that stuff kind of plays in my head, but the good thing about organics is if you're feeding as much as I just described there, if you do it the right way, even if the plant doesn't use it, you're not doing any detriment to the plant, right?
Right.
Whereas with salts or something, if you're doing too much, you're doing way too much.
Yeah, and it's
Oh,
really very hard to come back from if you got too
ex-
much salt in in
exactly.
the water, or in the soil. You're basically adding toxins if at a certain level.
Hmm.
You're not really going to ever add too much of anything organically unless it's like, you know, too
Yeah,
much water is not good, or
yeah. If
you
you're
know,
hitting them with teas like every day, and yeah, you can do bad things. But if the good thing with a lot of organics too is the way to fix it is like, well, you gotta wait.
yeah, you do.
Don't
You
do
gotta
I
anything.
wait.
fucking hate that.
Oh, I know.
Do you guys ever just not go in your room for a little bit just because you're like, if I
Yes.
go in there, I'm gonna do
Yep.
something and I shouldn't be
Yep.
doing anything.
If I'm having a bad day, I will come home and go grab a joint and walk Captain before I even go look at the grow. I'm just like, I don't want to see shit. Even if I know nothing bad's gonna happen, I'm just like, need a little bit of time.
I'll
Right
end up
on. I
pulling
mean,
leaves off or something that I shouldn't.
Hmm. Yep. I just get in that mood. The worst is when I get motivated and I don't have anything to do in the garden or around the house. Like it's just kind of a lazy day because I'm like looking for things to do. So I'll just be like, ooh, I'll start something. And then I'll start a process and be like, I shouldn't have done that. I didn't need to make labs again. I didn't need to start sprouting those seeds. God damn it. The worms are fine. Leave them the fuck alone.
That's why I like the green ties, is because I always have to readjust. It gives me
Yeah.
something to do. I get in there and I can look at the plants. I can see, okay, is the spacing on this structure good enough? How much is it growing? Is it, yeah, I can see the soil.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't actually do anything that's detrimental if I didn't want to, but I like the ties because it kind of gives me something to do with my hands and I get to look at the plants. I know it seems like over the top a lot of times, but it's something to do. And sometimes it
Absolutely.
can work out really well. Not always, but sometimes it can.
This is why I train. Like,
Yeah.
and I don't. I mean, I use ties on my. Actually, no, I use them on everything. But I'll start with clips because when they're a little bit smaller, it's just easier for me.
Okay.
And so, it's just my thing to do. Like, I'm probably not going to really hurt them that much by putting a clip on them and training them a certain way or tying them down a certain way. And it's my way to stay connected to the plant. And we're kind of going through this together and figuring it out. And it's, I mean, for me, like, I don't have I'm a bull. Like, I kill everything. And so, like, I can't do like a petite bonsai. Like, I'm going to try, but I really don't think I can do it. But
I
like these
know how
big
you
plants, it's
feel.
kind of like, it's like bonsai with the clips and the tie downs and stuff. And like, I can, oh,
It
you're
is.
not getting enough light. You could kind of move on over here a little bit. And I was so pissed once my plants got to the point where like they're touching the walls and like I can't do anything. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
you're like,
oh, I'm so mad.
what do I do? I want to say,
Yep.
you did an amazing job. I don't train normally at all, right? I like to watch it go natural and everything on natural, but your mango in that tent is amazing, and your training did wonders
I
and is done well.
I appreciate that, but I don't know what I did. It really like I've trained every single plant I've grown, which I haven't grown many, like maybe a dozen or something, or dozen and a half.
Hmm.
But I've never had a plant train like this. It was the frickin' plant. Like it told me where it needed to go to the point where it said Tangy needs to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I
it
mean,
kicked out
it
its
did it.
friend.
It like everything I did to try to contain her, she kept on pushing over onto Tangy, saying, "Get her the fuck out." And sure enough, like the moment I got Tangy out and spread Mango a little bit more, like she just took over the tent. Like she's like, "Yep, I'm here. This was mine." She
Yeah,
did it.
she's
I've never had a plant really tell me as much as that, like what needed to be done.
and that is that a 3x3?
Yep,
It's almost completely filling the canopy is completely
yep.
filling the 3x3. It's
That's awesome,
amazing.
dude.
Yeah,
That's like what everyone's trying to achieve. That's
yeah.
bravo.
He's
You
done
know
well.
what?
Take a
This
bow.
like
Take a bow.
I will
Don't be
try.
BGG. You know what I did to the
Fuck
big
off.
green guy, right? Everyone went and complimented him for days after. So I'd like to thank everybody for complimenting the big green guy. He is truly a great person. Do it up. Keep doing it. And also tell Howling his mango is amazing because it is. Go check it out. It's beautiful.
Well, I appreciate it. I wish I internally could take more credit for it, but
Wow.
I appreciate the words.
The good news is it's nature, and it was responding well to what you did. So you created a good environment, and that's something to take pride in, regardless. Especially where you live, where it's like what -55 degrees all the time.
It's not that bad right
No,
now.
I don't know. I said that. I don't know. I said that when Merch literally lives on an ice island.
It's not all ice. There's water.
Sometimes. The real reason he hasn't been on the mainland in forever isn't because he's been enjoying his time off. It's because there's been no travel. It's Arctic conditions and the polar bears are stopping it.
I sent scouts out weeks ago, but I haven't heard back.
Yeah, we've abandoned
They
that
were ate by
scientific outpost.
The orca
On those,
devoured them.
it was those poor water boats. They couldn't get down.
Yeah, you got to upgrade, man.
Sorry, it's like my land boat. That's funny. What about you, Johnny? Do you have anything growing?
Yeah, the fucking we were talking about organics, and the thing you got to do is fucking wait. But that soil test, remember we did on that 3x3, the one with all the clover and shit.
Yeah.
with all the salts availability in there, I was just like, I haven't done shit. So I'm just watering that tent with some microbes, and it's got the skunk 10, the banana milk 1, and the hella jelly that you sent me.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, they're starting to rage out finally. They're looking good. Yeah,
That's
other than that, I got that earth box with that 16-day old fucking must be stunted again fucking autoflower.
I've done
I
it.
think I'm gonna start a new fucking earth box because I keep trying an autoflower in this box, and I think I'm gonna put photo period in this box and then an autoflower in a brand new earth box because I'm curious what the fuck's going on with that.
No.
I would also
That
say that wasn't the thing in the Earth box that freebie that came with the hella jelly I sent
yeah,
you? It's
yep,
probably also really trash genetics. I don't know anything about it. I wouldn't be too worried
yeah,
about it.
could be that too.
Yeah. I I doubt it is because but I didn't recognize anything about it. So
Yeah, and it was like I think it was called OG Kush, so it probably is just some fucking crap.
yeah. Yeah, so I wouldn't take it too personally. I only picked that to infuriate you.
No, I know. No, I know. And it was just something we were testing, but it just was weird. It seemed like it was doing okay in the cloner, but as soon as I put it in the pot, it like the stems started turning a little bit purple and it slowed down a bit. And I got the lights perfect, I got the environment perfect. It's just fucking it's weird. I don't know.
Sometimes we whiff. I know I whiff sometimes, and
Oh yeah.
I I yank those bitches and I start over, and
Yeah,
I don't tell
I'm not
anybody.
mad. I'm not mad. I'm just curious because I want to have a direction to go.
Yeah,
So, like I want to know what happened
that's
exactly,
probably a
but
good idea though.
I don't
Start
know.
fresh, well, on a
Yeah.
different box, and then you
Yeah,
know
but then I also wanted to put
Still
a
put a
photo
photo
in
in
there
there.
to see how it and just to see how it would react. So I might take a cut of something and just fucking throw it in there and see what it does.
a
The good
photo will
news is
probably do
I was
awesome.
I was gonna say, yeah, the photo is gonna take it and just kill, and then you're gonna be like, "There's nothing wrong with this soil at all," or something. But it should at least, even if it doesn't like it, it's not going anywhere. You just make it so that it does like it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just fucking I don't know. I'm curious.
You're just fucking what? What? You don't need to tell us that, dude.
Getting down over
I
there.
know, Jesus.
Yeah.
Congratulations,
Hey,
but
man.
dude.
Autos are finicky like that though. I've had quite a few that sometimes they just suck. And it's not all the time, but when it happens it's a bummer because you're like, "Oh, I don't think I did anything." And especially when it's my own seed, I'm like, "Well, god damn it. Like who am I going to blame? It's my shit." So, it sucks. It sucks that
Seriously,
sometimes you just
they,
miss.
they suck more often than not.
That's not true.
I, uh,
That's not true at all.
No,
I don't
yeah,
know, man.
I don't. When's the last time you seen Mac fucking throw a suck auto out?
Yeah, Mac kills all the time.
That's
I'm
right.
only basing this on my inexperience of growing an auto.
Oh yeah, no, I
And no,
understand the frustration you have when you have two fucking perfect plants right now. What a prick! I'm just kidding.
I don't have
Uh,
two
Didn't we
perfect
just
oh,
plants.
say that you have an
woe is
auto?
me. Ooh.
Didn't we
Oh,
just
fuck
say that you had
off.
an auto that fills a 3x3, a
Yeah, dude,
single
you
auto?
are killing it.
And I'm saying
Shut
that
the
was
fuck up.
100% genetics and not me doing it.
Yeah.
All my other autos suck. I am lucky to pull. I don't know if I've had an auto that I've pulled more than 2 ounces off of.
Really? Well,
Interesting.
Yeah.
you're about to, I think.
Yeah, easily.
Like
If not, then yeah.
that one,
If
yes.
you don't pull more than 2 off of that mango, then yes, you're a shitty grower.
Well, no, that's why I'm saying like
Damn.
that one,
I'm just
yes.
kidding.
Why I find it hard to take um, compliments is that was one, but all my other autos, yeah, it's like 2 ounces an auto.
Well,
Like they're
you've
nothing.
been
Like
changing the way that you grow. You
what?
have You're
Stop it.
learning. You've only been growing a year and you're getting exponentially better. You're All of the jungles that you are growing are beautiful. So just accept it and take a compliment. Or
He's
I
got a
will
good
just
point.
end. Let's do this.
I will not take a compliment.
See, only my biggest pet peeve is when Big Green Guy and you guys do excellent things, and I'm like, "Hey, man, great job." You're like, whatever." No, guys, take pride. You know how rare it is for someone to do a good thing. We don't see it enough. So, hell yeah, man. take it
So,
pride in it.
let's let's change the topic. Stop. Merch, I'm really curious. You clarified when Rev said that like you were breeding things. You're just like, whoa, wait, it's just pollen chucking. Like, what do you mean by that?
I think so. I think it's a little bit more pollen chucking, especially right now because I'm sort of I'm not selecting as much on all of these crosses. They're just I'm hoping that they're going to be good, and I'm just hitting them with some good male pollen. So I know the male's good. I'm hoping that the female will be good, but I do some selecting as well, but not on this particular run as far as the mass pollination that I'm doing.
No, but you know what you do is you give it to you do. Haha.
I
No,
do.
you give it to your community, and then they do some of this the selection and showing you what phenotypes and stuff are out there, which is that's just cool testing too. So
I never like to call it testing because I'm not trying to like test, I guess.
yeah,
I like to watch people grow them, and I always say I hope you find something good in there because I don't know what's in there,
yeah,
and
exactly.
you're gonna find out. So, but I don't want them to have these expectations because, as you guys know, when you're going through F1s, F2s, there's a lot of variation, and just because two parents were really good, it doesn't mean that the next one's going to be good. So
Uh,
sometimes you get the lucky ace, but sometimes you get some bad ones. Like when I'm popping like 20 or 30 of them, like you said, sometimes there's just those seeds that don't do well compared to the other ones.
mhm.
And it's just the genetics. So you have to sift through all that. And that's what I'm trying to do. But you always got to start with an F1 at some point. So yeah, I give out a lot of the F1s, and I really hope that people find something good in there.
So let me ask, what's your experience about reversing dosey dos?
Which
Hmm?
Well,
well,
I would,
I can
I don't.
explain that he has zero because he hasn't reversed dos to my
No,
knowledge.
no, I
But
haven't.
are you asking how does he reverse? Are you asking his experience with reversing?
Sure.
Do you
There you
want
go.
to reverse a do do?
Well, you know what? So Dosey Do's my favorite. I can't. Their archive has their iterations on Dosey Do. I would love to take that and cross it with something. There was a conversation today about breeding, which I think I'll be a fucking terrible at, but it got my brain going. And so
It's
now I'm just
fun.
worrying, like, if I picked characteristics about a cultivar that I really like, where do I go from there? Like,
Well, I guess it would. Do you want to grow it for buds, or do you want to have like seed stock?
I think I would like seed stock because I would like to share it. I'm not just doing this for myself.
So if you just wanted like a bunch of feminized seeds, you can do what a lot of people do, which is where they get colloidal silver, I believe it's called, or you get some STS spray. You can order those on Amazon, I think, most of them, or online, and you just basically spray your female and the one that you like, or you can spray a few of them, and it will block the
Hmm.
the receptors, or that it will block the hormones, I think, that creates ethyl or something. I'm probably butchering this, but basically it'll turn your female flowers into male flowers, and you'll have all feminized seeds. Um, it's basically like selfing, and you can also hit other plants with it too. So you can have all females, and that's like if you want to have a lot of seeds that are all females, and you just want a lot of buds, and you don't necessarily want to breed with it, you can go down that route. But if you want to have males and females of a lot of different varieties, I think using regular seed stock is a good way to go because you're going to have all sorts of different crosses, and you're also going to have males and females of all those different crosses that will all be different phenotypes, and
Hmm.
you can sift through there. So if you want a project, you can go with a male and a female, and if you want just a lot of good seeds on hand, you can go with feminized. So or you could do both. I've done both.
Yeah,
Hell
so
yeah.
it's the hard part for me is like Archive is the creators of Dosido, and they did iterate on it for quite a while, but as far as I know, they're not like they've been out of stock on Dosido seeds. They're not releasing it. But they have their hybrid line, which is like everything under the sun crossed with Dosido.
Yeah.
So then I was like, well, maybe if I find a cross that I like both the parents, maybe I could start reversing that in some way and then crossing that with something else.
That sounds like a good plan. I'd say that's where most projects start. And I'm not a breeder. I like to say this a lot. I just do it as a hobby. People like Alabrije and Mephisto, Night Owl, those guys, they really do the work. I just don't really do the work that they do. You could be a hobbyist or you could do that. It's just whatever you feel like you have the time and the space for. Um, and it does take a lot of time. I'm going to be honest with you. It takes a while to to go through the projects, and you will not have as much bud as you normally do because you're using tent space to sift through seedlings or to
Hmm.
check the different phenotypes if you're going to hold on to them. If you're talking about photos, you got to keep cuts. There's a lot of space involved, and you're using a lot of electricity on stuff that you don't know if it's going to be good. So there's a lot of that, but I like that whole thing. I like all of it. It's my like I like it more than growing buds. I like this. And that's why I do it so much. But if you're not like I guess if you don't want to do that, I would think a little bit about what direction that you would like to go. You could do it on a small scale. You can do it on a really small scale if you want.
I'm purely doing this for the chaos and the laughs.
Hell yeah.
Like, I'm not
Nice.
doing it to be a breeder or anything. Like, that is, I know, like, I don't want to have to try to invest in the craft to get to that skill that I would want to get to. I want to just do this for the fun of it and the rabbit hole I could go down into.
Oh
I
yeah.
think I think you're in the right spot then.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, because that's what I do. But one thing I've noticed is that you got to be kind of careful about like what you say, whose stuff that you use. It's good to be really respectful because I'm sure you guys have all seen it, but the second that you say that you're a breeder and you start putting a price tag on the seeds that you've have so-called created, and if maybe you didn't work them as much as you wanted to, you might step on someone's toes and you might really backfire. So that's why I don't touch any of that. That's not my thing, but it's important to
You
note.
know, that's a good point. Like, I was yeah, I think all the hybrids, and I haven't looked in a recently, but like I kind of take it as like if a breeder releases regs, they're kind of giving it away in a sense, like
Yeah,
because you're going to probably get males and you could do something with that male,
absolutely.
and so and they understand like they're kind of doing it to preserve the line and whatever you want to take. So one of the things that Archive does is like I think all their hybrids are regular seeds. Like I of course would reach out like okay, let me jump ahead a little bit of what I'm ultimately trying to do is recreate a strand or a cultivar that I think would be really good, which is Comfortably Dumb by Jinx Proof crossed with Dosey Dos. And he releases it once in a while called Dosey Dums. And I would
That's
love
pretty
to get
cool.
my
That's
hands
cool.
onto this because I have one plant where the parent was comfortably dumb, and let me tell you, it's a banger. And I'm like, okay, this got me into the medicinal side of what some breeders like to do. And so I'm like, well, if I could recreate it, that would be a really fun project because it's taking what probably are two of my favorite cultivars and crossing them the same way that he did, and then compare it and talk to him about it. Like, what do we do here? Like, how is it different? I thought that would be really cool. And so I wouldn't do it just to like, I'm going to take your seeds and run and do my own shit. Like, I would talk to everyone and make sure that they're cool with it. But if they are, it might fill my chaos void a little bit.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think so too, man.
Honesty is always the best policy, but if you're doing work and you're doing it honestly, nobody's gonna fault you.
Yeah, I think if you're clear and,
Hmm.
and concise with what you're trying to do, no harm, no foul, right?
Exactly. The only
But
time people care is if you're trying to turn a quick buck and just claiming stuff that isn't true.
that's exactly. And then back to your point, if you if you worked a plant or a line or whatever, if you worked it to like F8, you got it really stable, and you had regular seeds, and you sent those regular seeds out, you're basically giving everyone the green light to use those for whatever they want. So that's kind of important. Like
Hmm.
anybody can reverse a female, and that's not the same. I mean, there's some debate there, but you don't have the same selection as you do if you have a male and a female. So if you have a regular seed stock and you send it out there, you're basically saying, "Hey guys, go ahead, use this, do whatever you like. You know, don't be a dick." In the words of Rev,
Hmm.
and you know,
Don't
be
be a dick.
be nice on how you use it. Don't sell it as your own. All that type of stuff, I think, is important. But yeah, like I'm probably gonna send out a ton of regular autoflower seeds that I've been working on for a while. Like this one strain I'm working to get to like an F5. I would like to get it, and then I want to send it out to people so that they can do stuff like you're saying. And maybe it's not the best, but there's really not a lot of regular autoflower seeds out there.
Mm-mm, not enough. And I mean, like, I picked up some of Daz's recently, and Daz is every time he does one of those regular drops, and he opens more of the floodgates for genetics and autoflowers. Like, you can see visually how many people jump on it and have plans and start doing things because there's not very many regs. I have some of Merch's regs, but I also have those some of Stoney's regs. But other than that, I mean, that's pretty rare. And even Alabrije said he agreed, and he's doing a regular drop because it's the more genetic makeup we can get into anything is great, right? That's new things to discover. It's always fun.
I think it's good for the whole thing. You know, it's good
Exactly.
for all of it. And I was listening to that one you guys were talking about, and you know, there's a reason why like I use coal miner's daughter. You're going to see that a lot because that's one of the few like
Hmm.
pretty decent genetics, or I guess I should say mainstream breeder regular autoflower releases that has been in a while. There's only I guess I mean you can pick them up here and there, and you can have oddballs like whack jobs like me doing what I'm doing
Yeah.
in a room on an island off the, you know, like I'm a pirate out here, just
Amen.
you know, a pollen pirate, but the official stuff that's getting released that is you know it's good, you know they put the time into it, and then they give you the green light. That's pretty cool, and it's not happening a lot.
Yeah, and it should always be celebrated because that's how you stay further and further away from get dealing with the bullshit that becomes like plant patents and all that horse shit that you just you just do ridiculous damage to the plant. But the further we can get away from that and releasing regs and being like, hey, at the very least, try a cross and make some of your own seeds, right? Because you know seeds can get expensive. So the very if a breeder is giving you regs, he's saying you have permission to make at least these seeds, right?
Yeah, well, I
But
think it's open for everything, really.
Exactly. Well, that's I don't. I was gonna say do whatever the fuck with you want. You bought it. That's the way this works in this country, right? But yeah, it's really nice when someone says with something like, "Hey, I want you to do something with these genetics that I have," because that's the ultimate of like here giving back to the community.
so I have to ask. I mean, Murtry said that it's up for debate about reversing feminized seeds. And I'm wondering why. Like, this isn't like what the cross was to make that is not like the KFC's Secret 13 Spices or anything. Like, they're telling you what they crossed to make that. What their specialty is selecting the right phenotypes to make it.
Because you don't get all the genetic background, right? You only get the
Exactly.
female genetic background. You don't also get
Okay.
male to. So it's not necessarily bad like, oh, don't reverse females so that you can get seeds. Not like that. It's just like in a perfect world you would have both sets of parents.
I got, okay.
Yeah, you're getting half the pie there,
Mhm.
but also if you're doing that with a really good female and you got all of just that female, that's how sometimes you get some real superstars that
Yeah.
really shine in like one particular area. And sometimes you can only get those like on that one cross. Like some of the ones that I made, the best ones that I ever made was like the first ones, and they're not as good after that. That's just like a unicorn type of thing.
Yeah, you're gonna have to try a lot of our buddy, the big green guy, told me today. I think that he had 40 strains or 40 crosses that he's abandoned and stopped working on to get down to the sum that he has and loves. Like he puts in serious work to be able to get what he likes, and that means by virtue of succeeding, he has a lot of crosses that just didn't do it for him, and that's a lot of work. People don't understand. Like months and months to just go, shit, I didn't like the way that smoked, and throw it away.
Yeah, knowing when to pull the plug on something is I don't that's crazy. That's what I mean. The guys that do the work, that's
Yeah,
not me. That's those guys. They're doing it and I got a lot of respect and that's why that's why they're a breeder and that's why they are getting paid for their work.
exactly. And that's why seeds, seeds that you spend money. And I don't want to advocate for spending a lot of money on seeds because that's not who I am. But when you buy seeds, you're not just buying. You shouldn't be just buying the strain. You should be buying the trust of the breeder, right? You're paying them knowing, that they're doing the work the right way. So when I buy seeds from Daz, the autoflower prophet, I know that he's put in the fucking work. He's earned that trust by what I've grown of his and the way I've seen him interact with the community. So you kind of pay for what you want in that regard.
Yeah, and it's not even really I mean, some of the stuff isn't too bad. When
Yeah.
like 10
And
10
I'm
or
not even saying he's
20
expensive, of
bucks.
course, but yeah.
Yeah. No, and he got some serious flair. Mephisto
Oh,
and Night Owl, dude, they
yeah.
got hoodies, they got hats, they got like all the
Everything.
cool stuff.
I
It
love
looks
it. The
sick.
stickers, you
Oh,
get
it's
what?
so cool.
You buy a pack of 20 stickers and you get 3 seeds. I think Big Green Guy said that today.
No way, really?
No, it's like that's what the joke is, because if you buy a pack of seeds, you get like 20 stickers and
Oh,
ashtrays and
went right over my
rolling
head,
papers.
dude.
Yeah, it's okay. It's Friday night down here, guys. I got a freaking complaint. I got to remember who complained, but they always complain that I was dating the pot when we record. And I just find that so funny. Like, if you didn't expect us to wait to the last minute to record the podcast, who the fuck did you think we were?
I think it's like sometimes when you see those videos that they reference popular culture or something that's going on at the time, you're like, oh, that was 1997.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
but I think we're doing it a little different. Saying what day of the week, that's fine. But I
Yeah.
mean, we're
Unless
pretty much sticking to the script, I think.
I was going to say, unless something drastically changes and we get taken over by an alien civilization that doesn't use Monday through Fridays or Monday through Sunday, we'll have seriously dated ourselves then.
Like, oh, that was pre the 3-day work week.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. if that ever happens, holy shit.
Johnny,
Yes,
Wake up.
sir.
you good, bro?
Yeah, you hear me?
I haven't heard from you in a little bit. I just wanted to ask you what you got going on, though.
Oh shit. Other than that 1 3x3, not a whole hell of a lot, man. Them fucking banana milks are about to come down.
Hell yeah, dude.
You were
Yep.
just describing that. You were saying burning rubber a little bit.
Yeah, so I got a lot of that out of the headstrong. Remember, I thought I
Mhm.
had that burnt rubber. So can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like mine's not queuing up for some reason.
It- it's good.
Yeah, so that burnt rubber kind of smell I was getting from the headstrong, I'm getting that from 2 and 3 on the banana milks, and it wasn't the most intriguing smoke, so I'm not really intrigued by them, but we'll see how they smoke. I'm imagining it's going to be very headstrongy. I mean, they're very wide leaf looking too, so I'm sure it's very similar in genetics.
I hope we're surprised. But yeah,
I do too.
let's
But
let's find out.
Yeah, but the banana milk one, man, that one, it is the most citrus of I cannot explain it. It is just, I
That's
can't
so
wait
cool.
to get on that thing, man.
Sounds
I'm
awesome.
excited. Yeah, it does sound really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. It's incredible and I can't wait. So, there's another week or two. My old man came over today. He looked at them and he zoomed in with his phone. He's got a newer phone or whatever, and he couldn't see any amber. And I had just checked a couple days ago too, and still not really any amber.
Interesting.
So yeah, and I'm like rounding out week 8 now. So
Now it's a waiting game.
yep. But what about you, Padre? How's your shit looking?
Pretty good, man. Let's see. The 2x3 that I've got the Alabrije in, it's the juicy Acalora.
Ajolojo.
He's got the names, man. He's got the good
Oh,
names.
he's so good.
Like it's all like fancy wine. Like if you're gonna order it, that's the expensive
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Oh yeah, no, he's
Yeah.
definitely that friend that always makes me feel bad because he's so much way classier than me. Like
Yeah.
he'll say a word and I'm like, I didn't know that was a thing, man. Like, but he's good. He doesn't treat us peasants too bad. But in that tent, I have 3 solo cups of the Cam #2 by Star Fox from our buddy Merch growing right now, and I'm having a lot of fun today. I looked in the tent, and one of the older one was seriously thirsty, so already underwatered. Yay!
Better than overwatered, I guess.
Exactly. So I fixed that. I that'll be good, but I got to stay on top of that. She's been. I filled her reservoir not too long ago, so I'm just chilling on that. The Galaxy Brain in the other tent is killing it. With the
Fuck
mango, but the mango's slow. So unfortunately, I'm afraid I have another Marley's grin on my hand. I mean, it makes sense. Obviously, mango is one of the parents in the lineage, but
Nice, man. That Galaxy Brain, I know you're fucking excited about.
I'm so excited about. I've got camping trips like in mind if it truly is the positive nature experience that I've read on multiple accounts. So
Righteous.
That's pretty sick, man. It's like a stargazer.
yeah, I'm really excited, and it piques my interest because anytime that I get like that euphoric or like you know super bright feeling walking my dog, it's always like the best medicine. So anytime I hear like, oh yeah, this has been brought up multiple times, I'm like, oh okay, this has to be perfect. Like I'm going into nature and it's going to be fun.
That's fun. That's a good time.
Yeah, it's a good way to feel insignificant and remind yourself of how great life is.
It's like a mushroom trip or something, but on a lighter scale.
Yeah, it's easier because this way Megan will want to come.
Yeah.
So I can bring my dog and my chick and not be as much let me have a fire and so more romantic, less ego death.
Yes. Let me call my parents real quick.
Yeah. Yeah, but so I've got that going, and it's fun, man. I think they're on days like early 20s, somewhere around there. Probably late, who knows, but it's fun. I'm having a great time. The weather's been crazy because it snowed in Aliso Viejo in Orange County, California, which
Dude,
is
I saw that on the news, bro.
it's gnarly. Like
How many people died out there
oh,
and when the snow hit them?
hundreds of thousands.
I was gonna say it's a massacre out
It's
there.
terrible. I'm only broadcasting from our bunker right now. Megan's holding down the fort upstairs with the 50 cal. So I've got no. It
Newsom
is
has left
yeah.
the country.
Newsom has left. Yeah, it's gone into chaos. But it's luckily everything in our immediate area was fine. I unfortunately missed the snow because I wasn't in the city that it snowed in, and I was a little lower than the city it snowed in elevation wise because I'm closer to the beach. So, but it's really cool. You can see snow on a mountain it's like the first time I've ever seen in my life or that I can remember seeing on Saddleback Mountain, which is very regional, and I think nobody would know that except for nobody. But it's pretty cool. It's been unique. So my lung room's been kind of chilly. So everything's been like mid 70s, upper 70s in my tent. So it's kind of nice actually, because in the summer it gets to be a bitch sometimes.
I was gonna say those are pretty good temps. I mean, for me,
Yeah, for middle of winter, like I'm good. I mean, nothing like your guys' winter. I always feel bad because I'm like, yeah, it got cold. It got down to 30, and you're like, screw you guys.
I know if we were to send you a picture, it would probably shut your fucking state down.
Mm-hmm. People would be
yeah, man.
well, only where I live. Don't forget, California has mountains too. The California Triple Crown. You can surf, ski, and be in the desert all in the same day. But
Go
yeah,
to
there
Big
are
Bear.
Big Bear. You have Mammoth. You have Tahoe. You've got Shasta. Wait, is Shasta in California? I feel like an idiot now. But you have the Pacific Trail, and wonderful place to hike and stuff. But in Southern California, rain drives people crazy sometimes. So yeah, it's
Clouds.
chaos. Yeah, clouds. A bad day. They don't get out of bed. But yeah, so it is really bad because if there's any bit of flooding on streets, or you get any, like if you're driving a truck and your back end slips out, because of course it does, people freak. It's hilarious.
But you're keeping the plants at a good temp though?
Yeah.
70,
It's-
75, or something like
yeah.
that.
And
It's
it's
not
been
bad.
really nice because I don't have to heat it. Like ideally, I get the temps up a little bit, but I don't want to run a heater, especially with power cost in this freaking state.
Yeah, no way. I avoid that too. It's too
Yeah.
expensive.
Yeah, it's just not worth it. It's like, yeah, it might have been better and yield slightly more, but it would have cost me $100 a month. So no, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, they're just gonna have to figure it out. That's what
Ye-
I always tell them.
Yeah,
I feel called out here,
this one is specifically for you. No, I'm just kidding.
you asshole. As someone who just has spent $120 in a month on a heater,
Oof.
yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. Mango's just going to have to suffer.
Yeah, you were heating a lung room though. That's a little bit different. You were getting a
I
couple tenths, but yeah, dude, that's holy hell.
Yeah, that's my problem is that the radiator heater has a digital thermostat on it, so it's just not like power one, two, three. So it's trying to maintain its own temp in the tent.
It's
But I
the
also
worst.
have the AC Infinity set to try to control it. So they were battling each other constantly, and Mango was getting too big, so I moved it out. But it's a leaky basement lung room. It sucks. So the thing is, I have to set it at 82 degrees to try to get my tent at 78 degrees, and it just runs constantly. And now I know the cost.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it's up there. Especially when you're battling, like if you don't have your parameters set like 2 or 3 degrees so that they can overlap a little bit, you'll just be going up and down, like
mm-hmm.
AC heat, and
It's the worst.
you don't realize it until you get that bill, and then you're like, why
Hmm.
was that so much? Let me go look. And I did that my first indoor. I had the parameter set like 1 degree.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was so bad. And you know how it swings like three
Oh yeah,
degrees? Yeah. So it
constantly.
was constantly battling each other. And I was just like, why isn't this working?
Yeah, it is. It is the like most just on off, and you don't realize it because you think you're being perfect. Yeah, I'm gonna get this so perfect it'll only be 3 degrees, and you're like, well, yeah, I should have kept that swing there because it only ever swings 5 degrees. But
Right.
oh yeah, I've done similar. I also when I fight temperatures and stuff like that, it's just you always mess around and do stuff, and then you're like, why am I fighting? Like, I'm spending so much money, it's not worth it. I should just stop. Like, they'll be fine as long as I can do it right.
Yeah, just change the humidity if you can. And
Yeah,
I don't know, hope for the best. Say Hail Mary and leave the room and come back the next day or so. And if they're not dead, that's great, right?
yeah, exactly. That's all I do. I take my pictures in the morning, and then as long as everything maintains, hopefully I see him later in the day, and then I look and okay, I'll see you tomorrow on most days.
The heat, though, the heat's hard.
Oh, I can imagine.
Keeping things warm, howling buds, that's tough because that's it's something you want to do. You're so into it, like it's your hobby. You love doing it, and you hate to see them go without, but they're just not worth it sometimes, to be honest.
No, and it's taken a little while for me to internalize some advice someone had. I wish I could remember who to attribute it to, but they're just like, they're going to have to live in my environment. I'm not going to give the environment to them to live. And so, like, because we're growing indoors and it's the best I can do, they're going to have to learn to sink or swim in that environment because that's what we got.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
not to stress too much on trying to make it perfect. You're just going to, and this kind of relates to the conversation I was having earlier today, trying to, like, just think through how much biomimicry we want to do inside and how perfect do we want to really get it.
Yeah.
And at some point, you're just going to have to say, this is the fun of growing, and only the strongest survive. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, you can do everything as much as you want, but you're never gonna make it fully natural. So I think as soon I don't want to call anyone out for doing anything because I think it's all pretty cool, but I just think when I'm growing, I'm not gonna do a 30-minute warm up cycles and all that stuff because it just seems too much for I like Monst always says the juice ain't worth the squeeze.
Yeah, unless you got a lot of money.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
If you got money, do it. Do it. I would.
Well, absolutely. If you could, wouldn't you? But I'm just like, man, I can think. I just lucky the lights turned on.
Yeah. How
No, and
sick
I
would
and
that be though?
Yeah, that would be so dope. But it's just so much, like Howling said, how much biomimicry do we need to do?
but I say that like up until I saw my power bill today, I was a neurotic asshole thinking how perfect could I make all of these things until I saw, oh wait, that's really the cost of doing that. And it's like, do how much do I care? And like, do I care $130 a month? Care?
Yeah,
I don't know.
you got to find what's right for you, and I
Wh-
think.
Is
Sorry.
Damn,
that
this was a
$130
sensitive
more a
subject
month?
then.
Just to run a radiator heater in my lung room. Yep.
Damn.
I can match it up the graphs of when my 3x3 the temps went up. I can match it to my utility bill where they also went up.
Yeah, it's almost like picture perfect. That picture you shared.
I thought lights were the expensive part too.
No.
I guess, yeah, radiators would take up a lot of energy, but yeah, I mean, like you're the perfect example, right? How much are you gonna notice in diminished return for turning off that heater?
You're going to have to spend more money and insulate, man. I'm sorry. You're going to have to insulate your lung
I
room.
was gonna
Spend
say,
more money.
Yeah, that would actually be a good
There's
call,
only one
man.
way out.
yeah, that's what Johnny did.
Yep.
And it'll keep the heat down in the summer too.
Yeah, works both ways. In
And I
fact,
just thought I needed more tents to heat up the room.
that's a good one. Run. You're worried about
Yep, more power.
135. Yeah, I was gonna say you're wondering about $135. Let's put a couple more lights on there.
$3,000 worth of lights.
Exactly.
Save money though.
Save money. They're
I
more
took care of the
economical.
heating.
Yeah, I freaking heat my house with LED boards.
Those drivers, they're an excellent source of heat.
Yeah, exactly. I can just burn money on fire. Um, what else would you burn money with? Jesus, what a stupid thing to say. Well, we're running long, so Howling, what do you got to plug?
I ain't got nothing to plug.
Everybody go
Just-
bother him about how beautiful his mango smile is and how great of
Oh,
a grower he is. Just bother him nonstop because that's the kind of prick he is.
you know what
Merch.
I'll plug?
Yeah, what do you plug?
Wait, really quick. I'll plug joint custody. So I am popping 3 of the blueberries and then 3 of the blueberry OJs. And 2 of the 3 blueberry OJs have sprouted within 48 hours. And so I'm super happy about that because I don't think I ever popped that quick.
Wow.
So
He's a solid dude too. He donated stuff to the Tangy Grow Along, and I want to say thanks again. And I'm really excited to watch you grow his stuff. Merch, what about you? Now's your time to shine, baby.
I want to thank you guys, and I want to thank Cots and everybody, just the whole crew. I really appreciate all you guys. It's kind of like at this point we're kind of like a gang, but in a good way.
Exactly.
You know, like like the cultivation conversation, you guys, just crafting cannabis, like Green Guy, all the Discord servers, like we're getting like this crew together. And I don't want to say anybody in particular, but I just like the whole thing is freaking cool. We can just like bounce everything off each other. Like you guys just hit me up and we're like, hey, do you want to chat on this podcast? And I was like, yeah, sure. You know, it's just it's cool. I really
Yeah,
appreciate it.
we appreciate you coming in and helping out, and you're a good friend. And I very much like you said when you spawned the Caniverse, man. I very much like that. I like us all being together and having fun and being able to help out in other ways and just creating fun shit.
It's
Plus-
the
Yeah, man.
Caniverse.
I mean, that was our fucking New Year's resolution, was just fucking the community, man.
Yeah,
Just
Just-
getting dope ass people on here talking shit.
yeah, man. Like
Well, looks like we can
Telling
check that off the
stories
list.
about fucking dodging cops and fucking
well,
eating fucking
merch. We can't have merch on
grapefruit.
every minute. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, I mean, I encourage you all to come join us in Discord and hang out and meet everyone. If you join one person's Discord, you'll find people in everyone, so you'll find your way around. It's a fun like circuit that you can do.
You get plugged in, you know.
Yeah. And then and then follow Merch's YouTube, man. It's such a quality, and it'll make any bad day positive. I'll tell you that right now.
Hey, thanks, bro.
It's awesome. Also, thank you, Howling. Thank you so much. And Johnny, what about you? You want to plug anything? Oh, I actually
Yeah.
fuck you. No, fuck you. I go. I want to plug your interview with the Mad Hatter. I can't believe I almost forgot that. What a prick your fucking better half is. You were on the Grower Exchange podcast. Instead of a red light, he was green, which was awesome. So it must have been a change for you, but you killed it, man. I watched the first half of it, and I watched the other half later. But you gave an answer to an Earthbox question, which I think is probably hands down the answer everybody should use going forward. It was
Cool.
well spoken. Oh, cool. Fuck you, you prick.
No.
Just kidding.
I don't. I'm trying to think on how the hell I came up with good advice, but no, I appreciate it, man.
No, you did. You
It was
did
a good
excellent.
time, and it was absolutely fucking blast talking to Jeff. And man, we gotta get him over here and then get him into the circle and fucking chat it up with him. It's a good time, man.
We're gonna have lots of fun things coming up, and I want to thank you guys all for joining us.
Yeah, and
Thank you, guys.
I want to say, hey, man, even though it's Friday, it's Sunday. Give us a sermon.
Oh yeah, man. I want to piggyback on Merch's comment, and I want to talk about the importance of community, man. Not in some weird fucking hypocritical way, but like just reach out. Like Howling reached out, and we became very good friends, even though he verbally assaults me. I met my best friend Johnny Apple on Discord, and we became friends and decided to create this awful podcast. My buddy Merch and I just started talking. I can't remember exactly how, but we became close friends. And, I reached out to him and he gave me, some help with some personal stuff. And, he's a great dude. So just reach out, man. We're all very friendly people. So that's what, if you do all of those things this week, I said nothing. I just said reach out. So if you do that one thing, sorry, I'm super stoned, but I'll forgive you of all your sins or whatnot. Don't be a dick, mind your own business, and go with Frog.
Amen.
That was
Thanks for
fucking
listening,
terrible.
everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Peace.
Peace.